Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you something different, something more personal. My journey to Japan as an enthusiast gamer. You're going to see some footage that I took myself using my camera and some photos a bit later on. It's going to be two parts of this video. So I hope you enjoy both the footage and the story. And again, it's going to be a bit long, but hopefully you enjoy it and stay through. Now, I've been in Japan for 7 months in 2019, and it first started as another place to visit, and I stayed there for, again, 3 months in total. I was in Tokyo, in Kyoto, Himeji, Osaka, and many other places in Japan. And again, what started as just a trip, I planned to stay there for 3 months, eventually turned out to be 7 months. In the entire year, and there are many reasons for it. I was in Japan both in spring and then in autumn also, and some weeks in between. Now I've discovered many things in Japan, and I was there alone, and I was traveling, different places, remote places, the mountains. Of course, I visited the city and spent time there. And I discovered so many things. Here you can actually see me in the sumo tournament in Osaka. Now Japan is so much to offer in terms of sightseeing, events. The subculture in Japan is something completely different. When I went to Japan, I just felt like I'm on another planet. Now the first time I actually was in Tokyo. What is here is actually some videos from Osaka. As you can see here, this is Dotonbori Street. And I visited many places, and this is actually the first place that I visited that made me fall in love even more with anime and video games. I felt like I was living two lives. One life was enjoying the subculture and the amazing street life. The other one was craving for absorbing the culture and the history of Japan. Sometimes I just enjoy going to the mountains, just getting lost, stopping to see a beautiful view, and I can stand there for an hour and just stare at the sky and the beautiful landscape. And other times, I can just go to an arcade place or just a gaming store and stay there for all day long. For me, those retro game stores were kind of like museums. I entered there and I can just get lost in the history of gaming, seeing all those games that I haven't had a chance to play. So many old games. I was actually in my little room with my Nintendo Switch, playing some games. And even trying some Japanese-only games, which haven't released in English. It wasn't that easy, by the way, but I tried. In autumn, I went outside to explore Japan and see the beautiful foliage colors. And this was just, well, it's very hard to explain, but you can see here in the video. Now there are many things I love in life, but the two things that excite me the most is nature, travel, and of course gaming. But when I visit Japan, it actually was the first time when I fell in love with anime and comics in general. And this actually made such a substantial change that until now, there's such a big admiration for anime artists and comic artists in general, and I'm always looking for games to play that carry that type of art style. Now that's also true for many Japanese games, for example Japanese RPG games and other games related to anime and storytelling, visual novels that I didn't play before. But after visiting Japan and absorbing the art, the culture, I'm playing those games today. And it was something else. Being in a certain state of mind actually has an implication on the type of games that I actually want to play. Now, I didn't pay attention to this before, but when I was more relaxed and absorbing different culture, I felt like I want to try out different things. I was before that just into first-person shooters and action, and suddenly something changed. Now I feel more urge to look into games that have more emphasis on storytelling, on art. I learn to better understand and appreciate the artistic part behind designing games. Now, this is not just true to Japanese game, because I learned to appreciate art even more in general. Now, there are things related to Japan. This is, by the way, one of the reasons which led me to play games, for example, like Animal Crossing, searching for more relaxing experiences. Before this, Animal Crossing wasn't even on my list. I wouldn't even bother looking at this game. But if you follow my channel, you know that I spend hours, many hours, even hundreds of hours on this game already. Now, although right now I'm not there, the inspiration remains. Now, the digital subculture in Japan is amazing. So many places to discover. I would just go into stores and you're gonna find some stairs going to floors upstairs where you can actually discover many type of social experiences. I was actually playing card games, discovered card game, physical card game, not talking about even video games, for the first time. I would just play hours over hours, many times a week, with local Japanese people. Would actually teach me how to play certain games, and it was just such an amazing experience. Now, of course, many times I just enjoy the action of the city, and of course also in the games, but sometimes I just enjoy, kind of putting a stop to everything, just walking, enjoying the wind, and letting just my senses, let them do what they do without even thinking about anything. It just helps to keep kind of a good balance of things. Yeah, it feels good in general. But of course, when I get back to the room and I turn on my Nintendo Switch, by the way, I didn't have the PlayStation with me, just the PC, and my PC wasn't that good, by the way, so I played on the Nintendo Switch most of the time. That's one of the advantages of having Nintendo Switch. You can just easily carry it around. And I turn it on and I play so many games, and I had so much fun with it. I also remember just going on the metro for sometimes and just looking and seeing so many people being immersed playing games on the metro. I was kind of shocked for the first time. This means both young and adults, and seeing so many people gathering outside trying to capture rare Pokemons. I first asked what all those people are actually doing there. I mean, I'm talking about a lot of people. And then somebody told me that they're just probably playing Pokemon Go. In Japan, actually was the first place where I actually felt like, gaming is part of the life in Japan. One of my favorite chain of stores is actually Super Potato. It's a retro store game, and I could spend hours over hours, even all day there, just browsing through all of those amazing games. And once you come across those who actually you played, this brings up memories, like instant memories. You just relive your past, your childhood memories instantly. What a great feeling. Wow. No, I actually remember searching for one game that I really liked as a child is Wonder Boy. And after searching in 2 stores, I actually found it. And I bought it. And that actually brought me back to play retro games. And I asked myself, would I enjoy playing them again as an adult? I mean, I remember really enjoying them as a child. Well, the answer is yes, and I played them, both the retro and also the new remastered version and the new version. And I remember really enjoying. One thing that really made me enjoy it is remembering the music. The music was such an influential part, and sometimes when the original music was missing, I felt like, something of the game, the original game is missing. So the music actually was a very important part. So the music was one thing that allows me to really relive the moment which I actually played the game, and some photos kept popping into my head, and I really kind of felt like I'm living that moment in the past. This was an amazing experience, just amazing. Well, let's say it like this. When I was in Japan, I became very, very nostalgic. The cool thing in Japan is everything is kind of immediate, very close. Transportation is amazing. You can just go from one place to the other. When I stayed in Osaka, this is in Kyoto, by the way, and it's like 20 minutes by train. If you take the relatively fast train, I think maximum 30 minutes, you can just go there. And this, of course, was taken in autumn. So in the morning, I went to just enjoy nature. For example, this one in Kyoto. And then I went back to the street of Osaka and just went to stores and spent all day there. But although I spend a lot of time on the computer, I always have a crave to go outside and explore the world. Now I remember that when I was in Japan, I asked about some of the recommended games, and somebody told me about Zelda. And you might find laughable, but I haven't played a Zelda game before. But after visiting Japan, of course I did. I also went to Kyoto, and of course I visited the Nintendo headquarters, just from the outside, of course. Nobody will let me in. But this is something that I had to do. I remember even when landing, when you land in Osaka, you actually have a Nintendo stand there, a big one. And I was kind of so excited to see it. It's like this is something that welcomes me as a gamer to Japan. I remember one time I came back from Kyoto and to Osaka, I went into the arcades. And I can't remember the last time I played the arcades, it was a long time ago. But I did spend a lot of time on the arcades and actually found about amazing games that actually available both on the arcades and on the PC on other platforms. But I probably wouldn't come across them if I haven't been there in the arcades. There are also so many game centers in Japan. That's why you feel when you walk in the street, you feel like gaming is part of life, basically. There are restaurants, there are stores, there are gaming centers. And of course, whenever I see one that I haven't visited yet, of course I would enter and explore it. By the way, the footage that you see here is from east of Kyoto, and sometimes I just wanted to get lost. I don't want to think, just walk and walk and walk, and that's it. That's what I did. I didn't know where I was walking, and I actually enjoyed getting lost. Now, if I visited Japan for only like 2 or 3 weeks, after visiting Japan for several months, you know that 2 or 3 weeks is nothing. I couldn't see anything at the time. It's not just seeing, it's experiencing the subculture, completely observing it, in such a degree where you actually know what this place is all about. You discover the little things. I met people who actually took me to different events that are not even allowed for tourists. So many things. I can't even describe it, of course, in one video, not even maybe in 10. Now I'm going to share with you some pictures that I took in different places. And I haven't told you this, but I really like photography. I know it's kind of weird saying photography, everyone is photographer nowadays, but I just enjoy like taking photos, trying to frame things right, and maybe sometimes edit some of the photos in Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. There's something about stills photography that's I enjoy capturing the moment, and this is another one of my hobbies. I actually thought about making kind of a book, photo book, and something really that put all my favorite photos there, but I haven't done so. Too busy with so many other things. This is Osaka Castle. This is Dotonbori, the main street in Osaka. This is a Japanese garden in Osaka as well, in spring, as you can see. This is another one, cherry blossom in Osaka as well. Osaka Castle for a different angle. This is Himeji Castle in spring from another angle. Same place, late at night. Of course I stayed. This is a Japanese garden near Osaka city. Yeah, this is in Osaka as well. This is from the Ferris wheel, a beautiful night view of Osaka. I stay in Osaka a lot because it's very close to Kyoto, and I love Kyoto. This is in Nara, early in the morning. I just enjoy waking up early in the morning. You have kind of this weather and feeling that you only get in the morning, early in the morning. This is a deer in Nara. Now I won't remember all the places while making this video. But again, this is in Nara. I was staying at this place until very late. Actually, many tourists actually left, and I'm asking myself, why are you leaving? It's so beautiful at sunset, so beautiful. Actually, one of the best experiences was actually staying there until late. As you can see photos from this sunset, just gorgeous. And I think there only were like 20 people at the place there. And I didn't understand why, because it's so beautiful. This is part of the Todaiji Temple. It's huge, absolutely huge. People are so small, look at this. Sometimes I just went into temples and I just stayed there for an hour because it was such a relaxing experience. I never done this before, but there I actually did it. Now I can really understand developer of games actually going to Japan to get inspiration, because there's so much to see and get inspired by. You just feel that even if you live a lifetime there, you wouldn't see it all. That's how much it has to offer. Now the experience that I had there in Japan was nothing like any other country that I visited. This is why I see Japan kind of as a different planet, not a different country. And this is a good thing. By the way, at the time, I was actually also developing augmented reality filters and using SparkR Studio, and I was actually developing quite a lot of games for it because the platform was really accessible. And when I was there, I was actually making really cool games. Which I'm going to show you a bit later on my YouTube channel, so you can see what I'm working on. I actually stopped making them at some point because of issues, which I'm going to talk a bit later, not on this video, on other videos. And I'm going to show you games which I actually made myself. I make like, I think like maybe 40, 50 games, augmented reality games. Yes, keep this in mind. So my stay in Japan actually want me to try to push forward to actually making games. And as I told you, I use augmented reality platform Spark AR, to start doing it. But I definitely have many ideas inspired by my stay in Japan, and hopefully I can make them come true at some point. Right now I'm focusing on one platform, which is mobile, but maybe soon I'm going to do something for PC as well. So this is for the first part. In the second part I will focus only on the gaming experience. This was just to lay a background to the things that I'm going to share ahead. And it was so fundamental, the things I'm going to share with you, that actually they changed the type of game that I'm actually playing today. More on this on the second video. Thanks for watching.